Hello, hello, beautiful person watching this. I am so happy that you're here. Welcome back to another Ascension 20 silent run, where I go over my recorded runs, add some commentary, just for some insight, and of course, some fun discussion about this beautiful game that we play. Today I have a very cool run that I just played that begins with take 15 damage for a rare colorless card, and I receive no apotheosis, no hand of greed, sadly, but I do find sadistic nature. Sadistic nature is pretty harmless because it costs 0 for the most part, and when it starts, pretty much just makes neutralize deal 5 more damage, which is pretty good, but definitely not worth taking 15 damage for or anything. But I do lean into it a bit in this run, and it ends up being rather cool. And I also have an interesting way of blocking in this run. Kind of reminds me of the more new player kind of decks, with lots of footworks and blurs. And so that's always fun. Very cool. If you're somebody who's tired of watching Wraith form win, then you might enjoy this run instead. Decent jawworm fight. I took 2. Yeah, that makes sense. And footwork, first pick. I'm considering taking dagger throw over it, and I'm like, man, that's kind of ugly. Do I take dagger throw? I know I end up with several copies of footwork in this deck. Nope. Good lice fight. Got the survivor to block for the full 8, and then pop them both. And there's my sadistic nature. Sadistic nature actually relevant in this hand, even though it could have just been strike. But it actually does something, which is good. It does the extra 5 to that one on the left. Very cool. And now, when dagger throw is against some other damage cards, it's fine to take. Another good opener. Can't play the footwork. Footwork not great until, you know, later on. Of course. Generally speaking. Not much later on, but later on than floor 3. That's for sure. And yeah, 0 damage slime boys. And Piercing Wail is against cards that are worse than it. And Piercing Wail does 5 damage because I have sadistic nature to everything. Isn't that crazy? So I did consider that. I was like, oh wow, that's pretty cool. Maybe deflect on floor 4 with footwork already. But I transform there and I rip the Noxious Fumes, and that's the combo. Now, when I play Noxious Fumes Sadistic Nature together, and I upgrade Sadistic Nature now, then every time Fumes ticks at the start of the turn, it does 7 damage to everything as well. And I get the beta art going. I just wanted to see what it looked like, and I was like, alright, I'll stick with that for the run. It's fine. Do that, and Escape Plan is on sale. I already have a footwork, so I buy it. Don't know if that's correct. We are making. I definitely did some fun decisions in this run. Over, like, I skipped Wraith form one time, and that was like, I just don't want to. I know I can already win this run, so I'm just not gonna put it in my deck. That's how I was feeling. I want to win without it. And so Sadistic Nature, Piercing Wail, absolutely cooking already. And then yeah, I could have. Oh, I was already full block. So it was good to split there, I suppose. You go right. I think I can do the Super Elite, perhaps. Full block against this guy. The Slaver. And then I can Sadistic Nature full block again. And now we're all set up with our ridiculously overpowered 2-card combo. discard the real card over the curse so that it exhausts, of course. Boom. And I get the bouncing flask. Have you ever been so excited to see a bouncing flask? And we get loggable, and so we get to fully set up before we pop it. What's that dude from Emperor's New Groove? It's all coming together, that guy. That's how I'm feeling right now. I consider playing Escape Plan, but then I would draw 4 and then reshuffle without 4 of the cards that are in my pile there. And Survivor is one of those cards, and Survivor is really good in this fight. So didn't want to do that. So I discard the Survivor first before playing Dagger Throw, because I know I want to play Dagger Throw to pop it. And unfortunately drawing Bouncing Flask. But I mean, it's okay to not play it during the turns you're getting hit anyway. I take 1 over playing Piercing Well, because Piercing Well, when you have been debuffed, still blocks for the same amount. And it's only blocking for 1. So I'm drawing towards Bouncing Flask, I don't find it. But now I play Piercing Well to do 7 damage, because I think I can kill soon. And I found Bouncing Flask. So Bouncing Flask hitting for 9 poison, plus 21. That's 30 damage for 2. And then additional 8 plus 7 plus 6, etc. That's actually rather good. And Bouncing Flask already a solid card against single enemy fights. So we have the big slime. I prefer not to take damage here, so I just Bounce Flask. This split isn't great, so could, you know, cost me some health in a minute here, but I mean, I'm already taking 5 there, so let's see if I take more than 5. Take 3. And then Bouncing Flask, because I'm not blocking for enough, I would say. And that's dead. So I can just full block. A bit lucky that the one dealing 12 died. But you go for those. Considering these cards, Stormsteel is not pickable here, but Blade Dance versus Backflip is a real conversation, I would say. Not sure Backflip's better there, but I have Footwork and it's fine. So I'm drawing towards my good cards and don't find them. Bouncing Flask and whatever. So this is a very rare artifact pot versus Gremlin Knob kind of situation. That is very cool, I would say. Blocking the vulnerable and allows you to basically tank more hits than normal against Mr. Knob. Normally be hitting for 28 here. And that'll be bad, I would say. So I just pass with the Orc Alchem, don't want to play any skills, because I'm probably going to take another hit, I'm thinking. Well, I don't, because I draw Piercing Wail, which does 9. I don't, or 7. I don't immediately realize this, I don't think, so I was considering, you know, blocking. And I would survive this turn. This is a very foolish draw. Like, if I wasn't killing there, I'm not sure what I was thinking. Should have just defend Piercing Wail. If I was gonna just let it pass. But did have lethal. I take the Alchemize, of course. And that was 2 rares. Like back to back, right? It was Storm of Steel into that. So that's pretty crazy. But neither of them were amazing. Alchemize is pretty good, but it's not. Holy moly, this card kind of good. Unless you have, of course, Foil Ornithopter, Potion Belt, that kind of stuff. And I found another Footwork. Not gonna say no to that. And Draw Pot's really good. Kind of bails you out of hands. I traded for Energy Pot. Dex Pot also very good. And I'm going against Guardian, so I would love that extra copy of Footwork. Yeah, no need for the Draw Pot at this moment. So I'm just considering playing the Energy Pot just to, you know, get a new pot here because I have Alchemized, so it's basically free. And I'm thinking, I might not be able to break it next turn. I didn't even mention, you might think it was crazy that I didn't rest there. But the thing is, with 2 copies of Footwork in your deck and you're against Guardian, as long as you can survive turn 2, then you're good. So either have to break him into defensive stance or just block for the 36. And I thought I'd be able to do at least one of those. And this is actually much spookier than I anticipated it being. I did get there, even without using a potion, but yeah, it was like, I had to actually think about it, which was surprising to me. I thought I would be able to block. I was thinking more likely I was going to block, but that did not work out. And yeah, just get the strike in there because it's only doing 16. And I really want to get my fumes in play, of course. I consider playing as Bouncing Blast like a maniac and going to 2. I do. Oh, because it breaks, that's why. Of course. I was doing math at the time. So, does enough damage with the SADISTIC nature. I'm watching an OBS, so I actually can't see all the numbers. It's my hope. And we draw it again. It's 1 billion damage. Look at that damage. This Guardian never said 0 damage Guardian fight. It's interesting because it was a lot closer than that makes it sound. If I couldn't break it on turn 2, I may have died. And I found a burst. Burst is good with Bouncing Flask, Piercing Wail, Defend because I have 2 forwards. And I take a choker. First choker I've taken in so long, but I decide my cards are pretty thick. Each defend blocking for a lot. Defend pretty chunky card. And I just want to be able to play. I just really wanted the energy, even in hallways. And I would have taken any energy, really. Maybe not Sozu with Alchemized, but whatever. So yeah, choker, many people think it's trash, like unpickable. And in a lot of situations, I would say that it is unpickable. But if it isn't unpickable, it's actually pretty good, if that makes sense. So in a run where you're okay with only being able to play 6 cards a turn, then it's actually good. It's just that some decks are really not okay with that. And you'll notice, like, I picked Backflip over Blade Dance, for example. Blade Dance taking up 4 of those 6 cards makes that card absolutely terrible with any choker deck, but I have no Blade Dance in my deck, so feeling pretty good. And so this beginning of Act 2 is a little dicey. There's a lot of artifact going on. There's a lot of taking 1 trillion damage going on. I see a second copy of Bouncing Flask, but 1 is enough. You gotta know how to pump the brakes. That's a pretty clunky card. Considering taking the Relic or Curse, probably would have been fine. And we're about to go into shop and I get the Knowing Skull event. Shrine, in fact. It's actually a shrine, fun fact. And so I take a little bit of gold. Could have probably collected 1 more time, but that's kind of scary. I didn't want to be too greedy. Take Wally Plans. Wally Plans is a good card. Card remove is good. Clockwork Souvenir. Pretty good. And I don't buy Blur, but I end up with Blurs in my deck. Spoilers. And we have our very cool Bronze Potion. against the birds. So, yeah, sliding in that Alchemize right at the end of the Guardian fight, getting me this potion. And it's going to be pretty good here. And I chose to not discard it against, what was that fight? Spirit Guardian? Because I thought I might face the birds, and in fact, rewarded. Piercing Wail, very good against the birds. Anytime they multi-attack, no matter how much strength they have, pretty much they are never going to do damage to you, and then your bronze scales will deal 18. And this bird is cooked. Have to take 7 at the start of the turn. Oh, it's it's dying to bronze scales, of course. Take Duplication Potion. Duplication Potion, very good. Crippling Cloud, Bouncing Flask, being doubled. Basically representing deal 30 damage. And there's a lot of good upgrades here. Fumes is actually the weakest, I would say, out of the ones that are considerable, because what Fumes is doing with this deck is really just taking Sadistic Nature each turn. The 1 extra poison is not going to matter that much, I would say. But Burst was good. A little bit awkward because I have Choker, but still good. And then Bouncing Flask, of course, to add an extra 3 poison, as well as proc Sadistic Nature a second time, or a 4th time. So that's actually going from 30 damage to 40 damage, of course. And very awkward turn 1 against the Gremlin Leader here, but I get a very cool Burst Crippling Cloud combo. Crippling Cloud applying poison and weak, therefore proccing Sadistic Nature twice per cast, and then I bursted it, so that's 4 Sadistic Nature procs, 28 damage, didn't even need the poison, very cracked and jacked, and then Bouncing Flask, cooking. So that was a very awkward start into a very poggy finish. Poggy woggy. Offered Bouncing Flask plus. It's still a bit much. I stand by this decision. It's totally fine. In fact, I would say most people would like. I think it would be really bad to take it, to be honest. But I wanted more Bouncing Flask. That's for sure. Kind of like, oh. Yeah, just pass. Pretty awkward hand against the Snake Plant. Discard Neutralize, because the 3 damage doesn't matter that much. 2 damage. Or actually, 9 damage, because I have Nature, but still. Damage doesn't matter that much. I just wanted to not have the curse in my deck anymore. Actually, okay. We'll call that a mistake. We'll call that a mistake. There was no way I was redrawing my pile, so just get the 9 damage in. Mistake. Missed 9 damage. Or Energy Acro is good. Striker Move is good. And I have Smiling Mask, so it's really good. Comment below your guess on how much gold at the end of the run Smiling Mask saved me, because I do check and it's a lot. And we're against Slavers. Ruh-roh. I draw the Piercing Wail. If I had Sadistic Nature in this hand, yeah, I would have cooked these Slavers. Would have Burst Crippling Cloud and dealt 42 to all of them. And Horncleave, amazing, by the way. Haven't commented on my relic for a while. And yeah, we're blocking for 28 here without deck spot and artifact from Clockwork Souvenir cooking. I think I burst Survivor. Nope. I decide it's enough block. Take some damage, but while he plans in play, because it's pretty good. In hindsight, I'm gonna call that a mistake too, to be honest. Why take the 10? His flavors are getting cooked. Did I not have enough? Oh, I didn't have enough. That's right. I was already 4 to 6 choker, so I couldn't burst Survivor because that's 7 cards. Past me was better at the game than me, but at least I got there. And we find Mummy Hand. Slightly less good with choker. Possibly. No, it's not. It's actually not. It's good. Debatably true if you're like defect with heat sinks in your deck. Choker would be worse. Oh boy, is it good. What a relic. Probably wrong to not play Alchemize. And I would discard deck spot now. Pools with Mummy Hand and its fine card. Not very exciting. It is rare. Some people might be like, oh my god. But not the best rare. I have no strikes in my deck. And I still click the upgrade all button because upgrading 5 defense is really good. It's essentially like playing an extra copy of Footwork at the start of each fight. Sort of. And I'm checking my deck. Decide to rest for the boss just to be safe. I'm thinking nothing I need to upgrade or anything. It's fine. Dash or throw just to find a power maybe. That's an acro. I play my potion. Deck spot just to be safe. So we are blocking in this run. We are, that's for sure. I'm doing quite a lot of it in this run. We are not rate forming, we are creating block, that's for sure. And don't draw the Crippling Clouds, sadly. So take some damage. So resting good, turns out, figured it out. But the difference between this and the Guardian, it's like, what's the difference? You didn't rest against Guardian. You're at like the same health. It's because this fight can actually deal damage to me, realistically. So I take the 3, yeah, take the 3 just to play Bouncing Flask. I think that makes sense. It's like, do I have to take this 3? I was like, yeah, I need to kill it eventually. That's, you gotta find the line. And then, yeah, I do it again. Take 5. I can play Piercing Whale, but kill it, dude. Because if it makes more dudes, I might die. Gotta kill it fast. So if I am not dying to the damage, I'm not worried about it. So, found it. On my 6th card. So yeah, we got there. Not the prettiest fight. There's an Envenom, and I know the sadistic nature Envenom combo. Every time you attack, you rocket, but turns out my deck isn't doing that. I don't have like any attacks in my deck. So if I were to find Blade Dances, it would be bad because I have Choker. So I take the good After Image. And After Image only blocking for 5 a turn, technically, but I have Mummified Hand. Now that I say that out loud, maybe that was a skip. I don't know. It was fine. Maybe that was actually skipped though. Food for thought. Would you have skipped after image there? Now that you've thought about it? You have choker. It's 6 cards a turn. It's 6 block a turn, I mean. 5 the first turn you play it. I artifact pot just to get it out. So I burst. I could have discarded it in this fight. Same thing basically. And I'd consider playing the curse. Downside, take 1. Upside, it's not in my deck anymore. And I decide it's unlikely that I will see it again, and or for it to matter. So just away it goes. Didn't have nature in play yet, so dagger throw doing more damage. Full locking, very nice. Full blocking, very nice. And I'm offered Blur, and it's interesting that I thought it was so good here. I'm like, I have a burst, I have a lot of decks, so I make a lot of block, and don't want it to go to waste. So sometimes, at this point, the thought is sometimes I will draw block cards and Blur, and then I can play them all, and then the next turn I can do whatever I want. It's kind of like a really expensive apparition. But what's cool about Blur is that if you add a second copy or a third copy, then you can just keep building more and more block and blurring every single turn. And that's usually a bit of a meme dream. But the stars have aligned in this run for that to happen, so that's very exciting. And I burst Crippling Cloud. And I don't have Sadistic Nature in play yet, so very sad. I didn't even comment on the Calling Bell. I clicked Calling Bell, got 2 shit relics, and Birdface Turn. And Birdface Turn is really good. Yeah, the other relics were whatever, as far as I remember. And I wanted relics. I keep Fire Pot over Ancient Pot. I have Clockwork Souvenir. And maybe that's correct anyway. If it was Act 1, it would definitely be correct to keep Fire Pot. Fire Pot, like, probably the best potion in Act 1. For the boss, anyway. Or if it's Slime Boss, even against the boss sometimes. But yeah. Find a, I don't even know the name of the 4 plated armor potion. Not very exciting, but it's fine. Cook this guy a little bit. Fumes in play. Keep the tools. And we're blocking. Keeping the curse better than not keeping the curse. Doesn't shuffle back in then. Had to think before realizing I can discard a curse. It's almost like your brain like completely filters out the curse. Like, I don't even realize that I drew Ascender's Bane most of the time. You know what I mean? Like it's just like once you get used to it, your brain is just removing it from existence. It's kind of weird. And yeah, we are not dying to the maw today. stupid enemy. And there's a second blur. Very cool. So now I'm thinking, okay, I might be able to infinitely generate block. And I snap picked this. This was actually not such a simple fight. This was not a, oh yeah, I can definitely easily do this kind of situation. And I realize Blur's not full blocking there, so defend plus instead. The unupgraded Blur is like a little bit sus till you have all your footworks in play. Just use that potion. And I do have well-laid plans, so playing the escape plan totally fine, even though I draw something of utmost importance. I can just retain it until next turn. Finally draw my sadistic nature so I can start doing damage on turn 3 when I'm taking 40 damage. And I'm hovering that like I should have used it, but it's fine. There'll be more chances in this fight, for sure. Discard burn, of course. Yeah, speed potion blocking for 10 here. And actually making artifact relevant? Question mark? Because the Dex minus debuff doesn't apply. Yeah, I can kill that one just barely. Still take a lot, but I have Bird Face Turn. I'd probably be fine even if I didn't have Bird Face Turn. Only taking 6. Not a lot. Foolish me. And then, yeah, we can just block, burn, and poison kills. And we found a Pocket Watch. Pocket Watch is actually really, really good synergy with Joker. Because, yeah, you can only play 6 cards a turn, so sometimes you just choose to play only 3 cards, and then you draw 3 additional cards. And drawing 3 cards, even if you can only... Drawing 8 cards a turn, even if you can only play 6 in theory, is amazing, because it's drawing you deeper into your deck, it's drawing you more towards your valuable cards, it's giving you more options per turn. And, yeah, I think, like, a level up in the game is understanding why and how Pocket Watch is good. I remember seeing it when I was a noob and thinking, this relic is useless. Like, there will never be a turn where I'm only playing 3 cards. But that's the thing, is you can choose to only play 3 cards when you could play more, because you think that the effect of drawing 3 cards is worth more than the cards that you'd otherwise play. And you're right. That's true in a lot of situations. And so in this run, for the rest of the run, you will be seeing me heavily abuse Pocket Watch, I would say. Abuse is a strong word, obviously, but I use it as often as I can. Blur is cooking. I Nightmare the Piercing Whale. Piercing Whale pretty good here. And I want to block. Play Crippling Cloud. Crippling Cloud weakens everything, so it's still blocking. But of course, a bit awkward that I couldn't actually block there. Take 1 billion damage. Reptomancer, always spooky, of course. And then here I can play 1 Piercing Whale to kill the ads with Sadistic Nature. And then I can do whatever. I'm considering, do I Alchemize? Do I Burst the Blur? Do I just pass because I have Pocket Watch? That's also heavily considered there. And I realize that this next hand sucks so much, even if I draw 8, that I need to block right now. So I end up first Blur after all. Because I just need to have a turn where I can play all these powers and then not immediately die. Break Fairy in the bottom. And we find Piercing Wail and Burst. Didn't even matter though, because also found they were already dying anyway. Found Defend, and then didn't Pocket Watch there, unfortunately. Sometimes matters are too pressing to play it. And then here I realized I could Pocket Watch again, but I'm like, no, I need a full block. Then I can squeeze in the Alchemize. And finally, I can just Pocket Watch. Thank God. Throw an extra couple of defense for good measure, just in case. Grand Finale Plus is offered to me? Nope. Very sad. And Nemesis is here. A bit spooky. I Pocket Watch. You don't play your defense for no reason or you're not getting attacked. You Pocket Watch. How many players would have broken Pocket Watch there, be honest? Oh shit, I have Pocket Watch, that's right. As soon as you click end turn. Every time. So I'm sitting here thinking I only have 3 more cards. So I just do this, because if I went Burst and then either card, then the turn would be over. So I wanted to do a little bit of a mix, so I don't play the Burst. And considering what to discard, I realize it's Escape Plan because it's 0 cost, but it takes up one of my 6 cards in the turn. So yeah, Escape Plan a little awkward actually, but it's fine when I have all my dexterity in play. And here we are making tons of block against Nemesis. Should have not played Defend there and just Pocket Watched instead. I did get a little more block for my Blur, but not worth. That's for sure. Here I remember. And yeah, we just block for a lot, and then eventually our poison kills it, dealing its damage every other turn. And here I'm like, ugh. Nothing to do here, really. Not even worth playing the Curse, probably, because it just takes 1 and doesn't really have any consequence. Block, block, block. I can go Blur, Survivor, and then Piercing Wail to block for the most damage, and then pass, keep Blur. And continue stacking up my barricade, basically. And Burst Blur, really cooking. So you can burst the Blur, save the Pocket Watch, keep the next Blur. And then if you keep Pocket Watching, eventually you'll draw back into the Burst again, and then you can just keep chaining. Found a Lantern, not bad, not amazing either. And there's a Leg Sweep. So 2 cost, relatively high impact cards. Excellent with Choker and Pocket Watch especially, because kind of get to feel like you're spending all your mana efficiently while also playing as few cards as possible. Had to pass a Toxic Egg there. It's okay, it was an Act 3 Toxic Egg. Act 3 Toxic Egg, not nearly as good. And here I spend the full 6, so I want a full block. It's interesting, like you're either playing 6 cards or 3 cards, exactly. A cute little, not sure what the word is, dichotomy. This looks like a 6-card kind of hand to me. Past me disagrees. Just squeeze it in there. Not sure why I played After Image over Footwork there, to be honest. But, yeah. Past me missed some things, and current me also missed some things. And that's why this game is incredible. Like, this run happened today, and, like, I'm watching it, and I'm missing things, and I'm noticing things that I missed then. How is that possible? I'm the same human. Just there's so many different things that you could notice. These decisions don't matter anymore. End turn. I'm considering the alchemized, then I still like my potions. Another leg sweep. This one's upgraded. And yeah, give me it. Give me all of it. I love it. Upgrade. Again, a lot of decent upgrades, but none of them are like, holy moly, I need to upgrade this card. No Wraith forms involved. So yeah, just upgrade another Footwork. I really just wanted to block for a lot. I don't know if that decision is correct. I just really wanted to block for a lot. Burst Crippling Cloud, absolutely flip this transient. Oh god, cooked. Pocket Watch. Why wouldn't you block? Pocket Watch. I think I take damage in this fight, and I don't remember how. I was like very surprised. I think I just had less poison than I thought that I did, is all. So I just end my turn prematurely. Or weak runs out, maybe? No, there's no chance that's true. Yeah, it's not that much poison. Pocket Watch. Like, how do I take damage here? There's no way, right? There's no way. Okay, I'm crazy. I did not take damage here. Must have been another run. I find a second fairy in a bottle and a piercing wheel plus. And yeah, like, I'm chilling. I'll take 2 fairies. Just in case. Whatever. Is it right? I don't know. But I wanted 2 fairies. I blur, prepare for the next big turn. Rethomancer rematch. No giant heads. Giant head! Giant head probably gets out blocked, maybe? I don't know. Probably, when it's permanently weak. It outblocks Time Eater and Donu Deka, so. And the heart. For like 12 turns. Giant head, I didn't even think about it. Tricky turn. Find the Crippling Cloud. Easy game. Fury Bouncing Flask wisely. Would have been awkward if I hit tools there. That was kind of risky. I mean, I was fine, but I would have taken 10 for that if I whiffed the 1 and 3. Or it was a 2 and 3, so 1 and 3 to lose. Pocket Watch. Block for a bit. Noxious Fumes heals me for 2. Largely a consideration. Bird Face Turn is such a relic. Yeah, I'm thinking here, the difference between pocket watching and blurring here is like quite a lot of block, so I'm down this time around. It's gonna die very soon. It's dead. Cool. Bag of Marbles is completely useless, and there is a Wraith Form. I can't upgrade it until Act 4, which was part of the consideration. I was like, it's not even good yet. But it is, though, and I'm good. You should click Wraith Form if you see it, by the way. I'm looking through my cards, what to remove. It was probably defend, but so here's what I was thinking. Neutralize. I already have a Crippling Cloud and Burst and 2 Leg Sweeps. So the opponents are always weak, basically, already. And then the Neutralize is a 0-cost card, which is a little sussy with Choker and Pocket Watch. You know, it's hard to weave it in, it's hard to justify, because the 0-cost card now does have a cost. It costs 1 of my 6 cards per turn, or 1 of my 3 cards for my Pocket Watch turns. And I really do think it was fine to remove that. I don't know if I've ever removed Neutralize before in my whole life, so that was a bit of a weird click. It felt like I was committing a crime as I was clicking it. But I think it's good. I think it's good. Comment below if you thought it was a good decision to remove that. I break the guy. Pocket Watch on 3. So of course Time Eater for any of the new gentlemen and or ladies and or themlins playing the game. Time Eater, every 12 cards you play will cause him to end your turn immediately, and he will gain some strength. And of course those stacks carry over turns, so if you is on 11 and then you pass, you can only play 1 card next turn. That could be very bad. So you have to greatly consider the amount of cards that you're playing against Time Eater. In theory, you know, Choker Pocket Watch kind of deck is the exact kind of deck you would love to have against Time Eater, but it's not necessarily the case that your deck is automatically good against Time Eater just because you have Pocket Watch and Choker, I would say. Although in this case, we happen to be able to block for more than he can ever hope to deal. And so it was good after all. And once again, we get to stack 12 with Pocket Watch on 3. I wasn't like planning that or anything, I don't think. It just kind of worked out that way. I mean, but that's what happens if you play 3 cards each turn, then you go 3, 6, 9, 12. Of course. So it all just kind of works out. Here to the curse. Consider keeping us slimed for some reason. Quickly realize that's not the play. Already have a Leg Sweep, so I can discard Leg Sweep. And I go Crippling Cloud over Leg Sweep here, just to apply a little bit more damage. I want to split soon-ish. Just feel like I have enough block going on. I want to get it moving along. I'm not looking for a 4-hour video. And I play more cards than normal just to make sure the turn is ending there. Card slimed. Find the blur. I have 4 stacks of blur. I just play blur and pass because it's going to split here to my poison. So just chilling, big chilling. And I wanted to find Piercing Wail, and I did, which is very good. here's the cute trick again. I've had this in several of my runs. If either Woke Bird or Time Eater are splitting into their second phase, and you Piercing Wail to remove their strength or lower their strength, the way that Piercing Wail returns the strength is it gives them a buff that says at the end of your turn, gain the same amount of strength they lost. If you Piercing Wail as they are splitting, they will keep the strength debuff because they will cleanse the strength up buff. Very cool. So Piercing Wail is a permanent -6 strength to, or -8 strength. However, it doesn't go negative because they would just set their strength back to 0. So up to 8 strength for Piercing Wail. Yeah, it's something that is pretty nice, but it's, you know, usually you're like using the Piercing Wails earlier in the fight or whatever. But somehow I just keep getting runs where it's relevant for me to do that, and I'm happy about it because I keep getting to explain it. Yeah, we're at 216 block. We're at 4 stacks blur. This snail is sauteed. I keep the blur in my hand so I can burst it. Just gonna be completely unnecessary, but pocket watch. I keep gaining block. I want more block. I was looking for burst. It's having fun. But yeah, this video is already long. Apologies for past me's behavior. Looking like a 6-card kind of hand to me. Thoughts? I played After Image second. Huge misplay, -1 block. Hell's in the chat. Blur. And so even though it's not gaining me block at the moment, just getting those burst stacks cooking already is pretty good. That means if I generate any block over the next, any excess block over the next 3 turns, I will recamp. That's pretty good. While I'm setting up. And here, a pocket watch. Sweep. Crippling Cloud looks good. I do have a blur in my hand, and I haven't drawn Welly plans yet. So that's a bit sad, but it's fine. I can get the block back later. Piercing Wails. Yeah, would love to pocket watch, but a little bit too, you know, pressing. Want to play some cards. Burst for blur. We do have acros as well, but the acros have been a bit mid in this deck, to put it lightly. I probably should have just double defended if I was going to do that. Keep the burst. So that was a misplay. Not a big one, but definitely notable. And here I go. Defend blur, keep the other blur. And then it's sort of like you just keep one blur every turn and then try to play one blur every turn, and then that way you always have a blur in your hand in case you draw the burst, and you can play 2 blurs. And suddenly you have some leeway and getting one more block. So this was fun. I remember this was exactly what I thought like the best thing to do with Silent was when I was learning the game. It's like, I'm looking for footwork, and I'm looking for good block cards. Backflip and footwork. Those are the 2 like best cards ever. And then you find the blur, and you're like, oh my god, infinite block. And now, Dono is gonna die, so we are now officially fine. We were never not fine, but now we're like, definitely fine. By my logic I said earlier, I should not have played Blur there, not sure why I did. Maybe I knew that I was gonna draw another Blur End Burst. Wasn't paying attention. Current me was not paying attention. And it's dead. This is a 0 damage Donor Deca. It's a pretty good fight. Woke Bird would have been outblocked, but I do have a lot of powers, would have been kind of awkward at first. But eventually I would outblock it, that's for sure. And the Piercing Wheel trick also possible against the bird. I upgrade another footwork. Volley Plans is interesting upgrade, but I feel like I'm kind of playing either all of my cards or, you know, there's not a 2-card combination that I feel like I desperately need to be keeping. Just keep a Blur and then wait for Burst to come back, pretty much. I'm offered Paper Crane with 1 gold less than I need, with my Crippling Cloud 2 leg sweeps deck. So that's a little sad, but Frozen Eye is pretty good when you actually have a deck of you know, many cards, seeing what you're gonna draw and when. I have the Millennium Eye, you know, that kind of thing. So it's pretty good. So I take it for the hard fight and I remember to use it. It's very exciting. Like the video if you ever bought Frozen Eye and then never checked your draw pile afterwards. That's good player behavior right there. Crippling Cloud, and then I'm offered the choice to play Fumes or Piercing Whale to block for 3. Piercing Whale to block for 3 is not a very good use of Piercing Whale. I have Bird Face turn, a little bit of chip damage, doesn't matter at all. Play the better card for sure. And yeah, considered briefly pocket watching there, and then realized I'm taking too much damage. Artifact coming in handy yet again. Clockwork Souvenir, pretty good relic when you have these sort of fights. But not something, it's not like, oh my god, this relic. But it's just like, when you can afford it and buy it, it just feels like a really nice thing to have. Pretty good with Wraith Form. Didn't consider that. But yeah. Probably makes Wraith Form like a snap pick if I was thinking about it. But again, I really didn't want to pick it. I wanted to have a run. I'm pretty sure every run of Silent I've uploaded so far involved Wraith Form. And I'm about to upload another run of Silent with Nightmare Wraith Form Snecko Eye. So I was playing, and I had 2 Wraith Forms in my deck, so 5 Wraith Forms per fight. And, you know, Wraith Form's good and all, but we want to see some other ways to win. Of course Wraith Form's a snap pick. Doesn't matter that I have Clockwork Souvenir. Snap pick anyway. Just pick it. Double leg sweep. Pocket watch. And you keep the aggro just in case, but I'm checking my draw pile, seeing what I'm about to draw. Start generating some block. I know, and you can, the really cool thing with Escape Plan, you can actually see if you're blocking. That's very cute, very cute. And then you can choose, hey, especially if it's, you know, taking up one of your 6 cards in a turn, or one of your 3 Pocket Watch turn cards. Whether or not escape plan is actually blocking matters quite a bit on whether you would actually want to play it or not. Burst Piercing Wail does 14 damage. End turn. Yep. Nope. And yeah, I realized I don't have any blur stacks. So if I had passed there, it would have been 72 block or 0 block. And I was like, okay, it's time to not be greedy Pocket Watch and just play the block cards. Ornamental Fan, absolutely useless. I find a Malaise, fine against the heart. And so here we go. I leg sweep first because Beat of Death. So I look at my draw pile. I'm considering, do I want to Pocket Watch this turn? And I don't. There's my draw pile. Void and Burn going into my top 5 is pretty sad. But I do have Malaise and Horned Cleat. Blocking for 14. And I see that I am about to draw Dazed, so I'll use the escape plan to draw the Dazed. Get it out. And here I may use the Ghost in the Jar. It lets me play cards and not take any damage, although it's not really that important. Okay, this was fine. I'm pretty confident that, you know, just don't take damage here and I'll be fine. Could have been saved. If I really anticipated how long this fight was going to go, I could have saved it for when it buffs strength by 12 or whatever. And then blocked that turn, but I Fairy in a Jar. Fairy in a Bottle, rather. Ghost in a Jar, Fairy in a Bottle, same thing. It all worked out. Possibly incorrect to use that Ghost in a Jar there, though, I will say. Pocket Watch. Yeah, the artifact's preventing my sadistic nature from doing damage. Very sad. And we block him. Draw Piercing Wail at the opportune time. I'm not looking at my draw pile at the moment, doesn't even matter. Blurring and I'm bursting. I decide I want to Pocket Watch there because the next 5 cards aren't looking too hot. But I'm drawing 6 by default because I have Who's the Trade and Play. So maybe we'll be fine. Could have played Poison, Bouncing Flask. A little more damage. Never found Catalyst or anything. Never found Catalyst, never picked Wraith Form. Who am I? Keeping my blur going. And I see I'm going to draw a Burst next turn. Keep the blur. Maybe I was meant to do Bouncing Flask here. But I really wanted to make blocks so bad. I was a fiend. Definitely some funsies decisions here. I just wanted to make block. I was definitely hubrising here. I was like, I want to see how much block I can make against the heart, and then I did let it get to 15x15. That's fine. Six x15. So I see I have piercing whale in this pile. I could have let this damage go, but I wanted to keep my block. Which, I mean, that's like a reasonable thing. So I see that if I go acro and then escape plan, I will draw directly into the piercing whale. Play it. It's my 6th card. Very beautiful. So that was a good example of Frozen Eye actually doing something pretty useful. Not that it doesn't normally, of course, but very, like, visible, tangible thing that it did. Not just good information equal good. And there's 15x15 damage coming in extra hot. That's 225 math. I still pocket watch, by the way. I mean, it was only 13, right? Whatever. How much am I blogging for? It was more than 13. 17 minus 3 because of the heart beat of death. 14. And we got there. But I'm still making block, right? Nope. I figured it out. It's fine. Okay. A little relic stats for us. I always hover it. I love it. Mummified hand. It's just counting 120 energy. 8 per combat. And Pocket Watch drawing me 123 cards, despite finding it in Act 3. Or was it Act 3? I think. Right? I don't know. Yes, because it's after Calling Bell. Okay. So yeah, that's a lot of cards for Act 3, Pocket Watch. 13 per combat. 13 cards per fight. Don't sleep on the watch, kids. So yeah, that was the run. I hope you enjoyed that weird ass run. And as always, I hope you have a beautiful day.